I've just been playing some Jotunnslayer Hordes of Hel, which is an action roguelike vampire survivors-like kind of game that came out in January of this year. It's actually one of those games that I've had on my watch list for a while, but I never got around to playing it. Most predominantly because I have some serious survivors-like fatigue. So revisiting a game that came out 6 months or so ago that has mostly positive, very positive reviews on Steam, thought I'd give you my 2 cents about whether or not you should check this one out. It's currently available on Steam for about 20 Australian dollars, which is probably, I don't know, like 15 USD, something like that. And there's quite a few things that it does pretty well. So you start off with these different classes. There's 2 that you start off with, the Berserker and some lady that does projectiles. And you play through a map trying to survive for a certain amount of time. The more enemies that you defeat, the more experience little orbies that you pick up, the higher your level. And when you level up, you'll have the choice between 2 different gods through Norse mythology that will have some kind of upgrade that, or whatever that god was famous for. As you're playing through the time limit, trying to get to the end on easy mode, I think it's like 10 minutes. Then I moved on to normal difficulty, which is about 15 or so. You'll be given little mini objectives to play through. These are obviously designed to try and make the game not just waiting for the time limit to sort of run out, which I've always had a bit of an issue with survivors-like games where you're just basically running around in circles and kiting enemies until the time's up. And whilst they're fun at the start, they get a bit repetitive. You're running to a certain area, you stand inside a circle, and then you kite around a little bit more until the circle goes away. There are things like defeating little monsters or collecting mushrooms or surviving a cold or a heat wave or something like that. Now visually some of these effects look really cool. However, I feel like we're still back to that kind of like what makes me want to keep playing through this game, because if each level is primarily the same, I'm just kind of like going around in circles. And yes, what Hordes of Hel does well is give you lots of different things to unlock, new characters to players, new gods with new upgrades, different weapons that you can equip and things like that. But I find myself kind of agreeing with some of the more negative comments on Steam. Things like the clutter when you're playing through maps, and obviously running from large hordes, there's things that get in the way that just feel visually not as easy to spot as they could be. And whilst I can definitely agree that this game is fun, it's polished, it's well, if I haven't played a survivors-like game, you know, it's probably the biggest scale. It definitely looks stunning, the audio is good. I'm kind of a little bit bored while I'm playing through with it. Now, I'm not going to put that as a criticism completely against the game Jotunnslayer, because as I said before, I've played so many of these types of roguelike games recently. But what it definitely doesn't have is something that really makes it stand out. Perhaps you could say the bosses, they are visually awesome, but I'm not sure if the fights are as fun as they look good. And the menu systems and things like that definitely come across as like really well done, really well polished. Hey, I'm curious to see if you agree with me with Jotunnslayer Hordes of Hel. It's like a 7 or 8 out of 10 kind of roguelike game, but not one that I'm going to be putting in 10 to 20 hours. It just kind of feels run-of-the-mill for me.